It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, Light Forex Social Trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Hello, good afternoon. It's the 4th of April 2019. It's a minute past 2 CET time. That's the New York Open live market coverage. Piotr here, and this is a Global Light Forex channel on YouTube. Let's start with risk warning. Please bear in mind trading on FX carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors who can sustain a loss of some or all your initial investments. So please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Okay. To be honest with you, bit boring ahead of the non-farm payrolls tomorrow. We get weaker ADP yesterday, we get weaker ISM yesterday. Market was trying to sell off dollar, but to be honest with you, dollar bulls were quite okay into the close yesterday. Still, from intraday perspective, there is a possibility that we are going to see another attempt to weaken the dollar. I'm going to show you on the DXY index, on the dollar index, on the dollar basket in a second. Yeah, I cleaned up charts, so there are gonna be opportunity to try to go through the chart, and I'm gonna to create my view from the very beginning, from scratch, right? So for you it's gonna be easier to try to understand why actually I'm doing stuff like this. There is nothing special on the agenda, meaning that there is a huge possibility that we are going to see more consolidation ahead of the payrolls tomorrow. In regards to the payrolls tomorrow, just a reminder, we discussed it yesterday, as far as I remember. Last time it was yesterday when we were discussing that headline is a headline, right? Like yesterday, we got weak ADP. There was an initial reaction to the downside on the dollar side. Overall, bulls, as I've mentioned before, dollar bulls recovered a bit into the close. Tomorrow, the most important thing are gonna be earnings, right? So algos are going to react into the headline. Humans are going, especially FX traders and humans, are going to react into the earnings. Okay, so it might be, if there is no action today, it might be that we are going to have two parts only today, meaning this one, and then we are going to check US cash open. And if it's going to be boring, no action, then there is no reason we should watch the charts, right? Sometimes we have to take the fresh breath, we have to rest, and if there is no action, usually when there is no action, there are plenty of mistakes we do. That's what I know from my experience. So it's better to leave it as it is and to get back tomorrow, for example, right? All right, so let's have a look what we have on the dollar index. Still think that the possibility of this intraday head and shoulders is valid, that the scenario with this possible head and shoulders is still valid. That's what we discussed yesterday, shoulder, head, and we are creating shoulder, so maybe we will see a little bit more dollar sell-off ahead of payrolls, and looks like the key level here to the downside is 96.60, 96.40 based on this chart I'm using here. On the other hand, it might end up that similar as we discussed it on the oil, because we have 97.70 as a strong resistance, we may eventually see this one to work not as a head and shoulders but as a left shoulder, and then, for example, trying to clean some stops to the upside, we may see a little bit higher prices on the dollar, right? So how high can we go? From the higher time frame on dollar side, we do have 98.50, 100 psychological level where the supply should be more active. Let's switch to weekly. Yeah, as you can see here, that's the weekly. There is a red color, all right, meaning monthly possible supply around 99. A little bit lower, we do have the blue, meaning weekly possible supply, and it's around 98.50. That's what I've mentioned right second ago. So switching back to intraday, knowing where the supply from the higher time frame resides, let's go lower. Let's try to figure it out, this head and shoulders we were discussing second ago, right? So if that's going to turn into the left shoulder instead of being head and shoulder, so what we can do, the simplest measure, if we are going to take out the head, right? So the same action we do when there is a regular head and shoulders, we can do when there is a cancellation of the head and shoulders, right? Looks like it's around 98, right? With stop counting, it's clearly visible that we may see 98.50, so the bottom of this possible supply on a weekly chart, all right, might be targeted by the dollar bulls, right? So from that perspective, if we are not gonna to create head and shoulders here, so from that perspective we should see some kind of the megaphone on the right shoulder, meaning that, let's have a look if there is something. Not yet, we should see some dollar weakness, because we need to have a possibility to create the megaphone formation, and usually megaphone formation has a huge potential to cancel the head and shoulders, right? At least I can't see something like this for now on the right shoulder, so it might be that, yeah, we are going to trade this head and shoulder to the downside. Anyway, during the New York session, we are going to watch the price action around 97.30, so 10-15 ticks higher from here on the dollar index, right? So we know what is the line in the sand for bulls. We are talking about 96.60, 96.40, maybe 96 even 30, all right? And we know what may happen if we are going to see higher levels from here, right? So actually think that dollar index is nicely covered by us here for now. Mostly consolidation. True, Mer. True. Nothing's going on. It might be that we are gonna to see some nice price action on the pound later on, but again depends on the part of the day. If that's gonna be around the US close, then there is no liquidity. I'm not gonna to chase with them. So let's get back to the platform. Okay, so if if there are gonna be an action, we do have a quite good number in regards to the option expiration around 12.50. So it might be the case that we have 2 hours, a little bit less than 2 hours. It might be the case that we are gonna to try to test 12. And we may see rejection and rally into the option expiration. If that's gonna happen, wow, that's might be something I'm looking for, right? Again, I'm looking this yellow zone based on this combination manipulation to the downside 2 days ago, all right? There was an attempt to break higher over here, retested over here, all right? We are trying to finish the business in regards to the swing low right now, so we have the reaction, but yeah, I'm not waiting here. I'm waiting a little bit lower down towards 112 on euro dollar. So that's how I see the things on euro dollar. Dollar yen. No change here. Yesterday we were able to create new weekly high. We are able to make the highest weekly close. I mean highest close over the course of this week. That's what I was trying to say. But anyway, the upper shadow doesn't look good here, and it's still, this upper shadow over here is still within this supply visible to the left side, all right? It might turn out into the inside day today, right? So today range might be within yesterday range, and then we are gonna to get an answer tomorrow after the payrolls, right? Taking into consideration what we've seen till now, right? If we are gonna to get inside day, it might be that there are gonna be first attempt to move higher tomorrow, right? So we do have few stops over here ahead of the supply based on this daily chart, especially the high from 20th of March, right? So that's probably some bulk of stops, and then higher towards 112 we do have the supply we discussed yesterday, right? So going lower, 1 hour chart telling almost the whole story. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. After strong Monday rally, we do have third day of consolidation today, right? And from the very top to the very bottom, it's not even, it's less than 40 pips, right? If we are going to take into the consideration opening and closing levels, we are talking about 20 pips. What an amazing price action here! Jeez. Yeah, nothing to discuss on the dollarian side, at least for now. Going back to the daily for a second, again, taking into the consideration the this week price action, if we are going to get inside day, right, the same like it was Monday, Tuesday, more or less, right, then Wednesday breakout, Thursday inside, and that could be the attempt to break higher, and then all this 112, 112.20 looks interesting, right? So for example, tomorrow, it's a Friday, we don't have to trade very actively. If you are going to have good week, then on Friday you don't wanna give up what you earned for the whole week. If you had a bad week, the Friday is the worst day to try to recover something. We are talking about this 1170 over here. If you are gonna to see attempt to rally above this level, but we are gonna to get daily close below, that might be nice setup for Monday, for example. Yeah, we will see. Close above, it will expose 115 in my opinion, and it might happen. It might happen, especially if we are gonna to get strong number tomorrow, and if we are gonna to see rising yields. It might be dollar day. We are still within this first yellow demand. I do prefer the lower levels here. And we are going to discuss pound in a second. But let's watch for a second this euro dollar, because if something going to happen, I don't want to miss that. And especially that we are getting closer and closer, so we may see some spike to the downside. Let me put into the chat ECB meeting minutes. Just the few comments here. A bit dovish, so probably that's one of the reasons we see euro dollar lower right now. Uncertainty elevated. You know, it's also the question about this Brexit, right? Because of course it's a bad thing what is going on in Westminster, in London. That's the British comedy. But of course, it's not gonna it's going to influence Eurozone as well. So probably the pound is gonna be hurt in case of the no deal Brexit, right? It's enough to check the PMIs in Europe, right? And we know everything. So yeah, I wanna see on euro dollar, I wanna see the stops over here to be taken out, right? I wanna see this yellow zone, and we are talking about these intraday levels based on what we already discussed with this post ECB low, right? And this Tuesday low. The thing is that bears may try to do the same stuff like they did a week ago on Monday, right? So Monday and yesterday there was attempt to rally, right? The only thing is the different place right now, because last Monday it was the move into the supply, right? Now we are moving out of the demand, so a little bit different, right? But resistances, supports, yeah, are not last forever. They are here and they are gonna be broken one day. So taking into consideration this kind of the comparison, it might be the case, for example, for bears, taking into consideration dovish ECB minutes, for example. We might see some front runners, right? So this head and shoulders from the DXY dollar index chart, it might turn out to be the left shoulder. That's what we discussed. In that case, moving below post ECB low, below 1170, and especially closing the day below this level. Ooh, that wouldn't be positive at all. I would bet that we are gonna to see some bullish evacuation here, right? In that case, so more stops would be in place, and that might open 110 psychological level. And just the reminder, we are still around 110. We are still gonna be, based on this 3 quarterly chart, I'm gonna to show you again, we are still gonna be within this strong range from the last quarter of 2016, as far as I remember. Let's check. So it might be that we may see more push to the downside, right? Just to clean more stops and more stops and more stops, doing this stuff very boring, right? So we are talking about this, yeah, last quarter of 2016. This one. Over here, right? So the low is 1.5, but 110 is this first quarter of 2017 high, is this third quarter of 2016 low. So still we may see lower low here. We may see, whoops, sorry, another lower shadow over here towards 110. For now, taking into the consideration this higher time frame, we are here, right? And we are a little bit trapped in what we've seen third quarter of 2018 low over here, okay, and trapped here with this last quarter of 2016. So yeah, trapped a bit. But taking into the consideration latest events, FOMC, payrolls, ECB. So the only positive from euro dollar perspective is the thing that we are still above post ECB low. That's the only thing. On the other hand, we were witnessing this dollar sell-off after FOMC, previous FOMC, but we are at better levels right now from the dollar bulls perspective. Okay. So it might be that we are gonna to draw the same scenario over here, right? So let's check one more thing. If that turned to be the case, we still have space. We still have space, right? So maybe we are gonna to draw this scenario. But still very quiet. All right, so looks like these stops are going to be taken out soon or sooner than later. And then, yeah, I want to try to, first I want to see what kind of the price action we are going to get within this psychological 112 level, right? It might be good from the intraday perspective for 20-30 pips here. So if the distance between the entry and the stop is gonna be not that big, let's say something in between 12 pips, 8-12 pips, then we're going to target something in between 24-36. We've got the weekly open around 27, so something around 11.90. That might be in my interest here on euro dollar. Pound is living on his own. I think we still got the chance to see a little bit higher levels. We are trading this over under here for now, right? But we do have, if we are gonna to check properly this hourly chart, right? So the move to the upside over here, right? Over here. Once we took out this demand, we retest, as you can see over here, immediately within the same day, we retest this high over here. I think there are some stops, and we may try to trade higher towards 32.05. We were discussing this based on this possible line, right? Yesterday, unfortunately, there were some front runners, and we hit the third touch over here, rejection, retest, rejection, right? We'll see. On the other hand, bulls may try to explain, hey Piotr, listen, here on this move to the upside, right? There was a move down after this upside, and we took out this high. That might be manipulation. That's why we are trying to hold this level, right? So let's draw for you what I'm talking about. So you see why we hold yesterday at this level, and what we are testing right now. So it might turn out only that we are gonna to hit some stops below this yesterday New York low, right? So instead of taking into consideration upper shadows, we may try to take into the consideration bodies, and we have another supply here which has been taken out. right? So in that case, we are discussing 31 level, okay? We'll see. To be honest with you, still believe that it's gonna be lower. The only question probably is timing. And the sky is the limit only if suddenly Corbyn is gonna to agree for something with Theresa May, right? And come on, it's almost impossible. So yeah, we may fall under own weight here, but still 30, 29.70 key zone. And especially if I can't move the market, I'm not able to move the market, so I'm not gonna be front runner, right? Why should I sell at demand? What a quiet day. There is some action, dollar yen action, still within the range. Euro pound, been thinking that we are going to see attempt to move lower. My plan around the London Open was to see first attempt to go lower, and then the breakout we've seen right now over here. Right, so I've been waiting for a move lower towards 85 and then attempt to break out. Didn't materialize. Instead, we are taking the stops and we are approaching lower levels here on euro dollar. And you know, it's hard to talk all the time when there is no action on the majors, right? I'm trying all my best, guys, sorry. After the break, we are gonna to try to go through a few indices. And oil looks like a never-ending story based on what we discussed. 63.80, 64.20. That might be the turnaround for oil. And I wouldn't be surprised once we are gonna to visit 64. We are gonna to see the President Trump activity on the Twitter that it's the price of the oil is not acceptable, right? OPEC, do something. Holy maloney. Anyway, after the break, Riley from here, that's the trend line which has been broken yesterday. It might be retest from the bottom, and it was very close to your level, Mer, as far as I remember, in oil. Did you survive the spike to the upside yesterday? Because as far as I remember, you were short, right? Nice. Congrats. Very nice. Congratulations, really nice job. Well done. You know, during the days like today, boring, yeah, I'm not gonna be surprised to see higher stocks. You know, low volatility, pushing to the upside, right? The same it might be with the dollar, right? Boring day, nothing is going on. So what's the easiest way? What is not gonna hurt you? Try to follow the latest move, right? And lately we had this dollar stronger, so we may try to, you know, a few more stops to the downside on euro dollar, few more stops to the downside on euro dollar, and again few more to the downside. Now order at 64. Yeah, that's what I think, in between 63.80 and 64.20. Especially what I would like to see is to see sudden move to the upside on the oil, like, I don't know, maybe from here, right? The sudden move to the upside, big candle, so some, and closing under the line, right? But after big candle, some guys will see, oh yeah, that's the momentum, let's try to join the party, right? But the truth is that if we are gonna to have something like this, that's gonna be very bearish. That's gonna be very bearish, right? Because it's gonna be invitation for uninformed traders. So the sellers are gonna, by this move, the sellers ensure that they have the opposite side. So when they start to sell at the top, they have to, exactly, some kind of the stop count. They have to have opposite side. If you want to sell, you have to have opposite side, right? And if you are a big guy, you have to have big opposite orders, right? So somehow you have to invite opposite side to the party. Of course, not every rising candle meaning that there is a short accumulation. Just don't try to sell every rising candle, guys. Anyway, even it's boring, the first part of our meeting went through smoothly, so we are about to start first break. So guys, enjoy your tea, coffee, and all non-alcoholic drinks. And yeah, let's try again around the top of the hour. Hopefully we are gonna to get more action on the market. If not, then simply we are gonna to finish earlier today. Yesterday, on the long side, or to the downside? To the long side. It wasn't with me. It was your decision. It was yours. So congratulations. It's yours. It's nothing nothing related to me. It's simply you felt comfortable with it and you took it. That's great. That's great. I've been long as well, but I didn't book that much. I didn't book that much. All right, guys. So let's have a break, and I'm going to get back around the top of the hour.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, light Forex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you. It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, light Forex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
And that's the second part of our today's meeting. Welcome after the break. There is an attempt to test possible demand on euro dollar, and actually we already did it when we were on the break. So let's have a look if we are gonna to get the retest. Welcome back, Mer. Let's have a look if we can get the retest, and that might be eventually that might be the opportunity to try to join this party. What I wanna see is some kind of destabilization around this level, right? I don't wanna see this to continue, right? I don't wanna see this to continue. So I wanna see some kind of destabilization in between now and 12, right? That's what we were talking about before the break. Once we are gonna, especially that the day is very slow, so what I wanna see is a slow motion around these levels. It might be better visible on the dollar index, so let's have a look what we have with this head and shoulder on the dollar index. Just 1 second. And there you go. Oh no, yeah. So that's our dollar index, and if we are supposed to create this head and shoulders, right? So we are very close to the top of the left shoulder, right? Still few more pips, and that might translate into euro dollar to test 112, right? So yeah, let's be patient here. There is no rush today with such a slow market. Again, I'm gonna to say it again. With such a slow market, the first thing, the easiest possible way to make the mistake is to try to trade such a slow market, right? So we have to be careful here. But yeah, we are approaching the levels we might be interested in. So let's switch back to euro dollar. So again, let's try a little bit lower. Let's try to consolidate here, maybe tiny stop hunting, move back, and so yeah, let me try to visualize it for you. All right, so what we want to see is attempt to go lower, some consolidation into the option expiration. At 112 we do have chunk, but not that great as at 1250. All right, then after this consolidation, attempt to move lower, so hunting for some stops. rejection, retest, and higher eventually, right? Just a reminder that we are talking about these longs based on what we've seen on the higher time frame on euro dollar. It's not that the full analysis is done based on 15 minutes time frame or even lower. Just a reminder. Don't forget about it. Okay. On the other hand, we know where supply resides right now. Intraday supply resides right now. Been tested already over here. All right, but guys, geez, we are talking about 20 pips move euro dollar. Oh my. Jeez. Maybe pound. But here would be good to see some kind of the rising candle, right? Something like here on 15-minute chart. Okay, so on hourly there is no accumulation of shorts. It's on a smaller time frame. It was good here around daily open. Over here, and then boom. There was a no exact retest, right? Based on the shadows, yeah, we may discuss based on the shadows, but based on the open close levels, there was not retest of this level. That's the one. The second one is a little bit higher, and that's the supply. Another one related to the high. And we're trying to break out here. Wait. There was no low, no. Yeah, we're trying to break here, so I don't need that anymore in that. Maybe this way. Maybe that way. So in that case, it's like this. So we are about to test on euro pound. We are about to test the supply, which was not tested before. And now let me check if it's related to something to the not necessarily. So let's leave it as it is here. Those demand taken out, so we should, and it's a third attempt, so we need 2 points to create the line. Yeah, let's watch this as well. But that would suggest from here eventually stronger pound. So, well, dollar yen retest. Maybe let me check where it's going to be over under here. Somewhere here. Yeah. Ooh. Is it possible? Yeah, it is. There's small supply on dollar yen. But if bulls are going to manage to get back above the line, there is a rule, there is a quite high probability to create new high, right? So it means that the stops above the swing high are gonna to be taken out. There is not much space, but anyway, yeah. And yeah, just you don't have to believe me, just check if there is a false break to the downside, if there is a false break to the downside through the line, rising trend line, or if there is a false break to the upside through the falling trend line, and we are going back above or below the above rising trend line, below falling trend line, there is a high probability of hitting new high or new low, but very often it's done within one candle, and so especially if it's within the logical zone from higher time frame, right, that might be good to trade, because if we are gonna to start to trade every false break, then we are in a deep, yeah, you know, in a deep trouble. Oh, that's what I've been trying to tell you. All right, 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes to US cash open. So let's try to go through a few indices. Let's start with DJ, and we are trapped a bit here. We are trapped, and we were discussing this yesterday and day before about Monday, Tuesday price action. Yesterday, another attempt to go higher, and right now, Tuesday range as a possible demand, and as you can see, based on this daily and based on this lower shadow, it looks like this one. It's a rally. It might be base and might be continuation, right? So they are trying to hold this one over here, but we are trapped because few points higher, we've got this supply based on what we've seen over here, late September, beginning of October, right? So that's the first supply visible here, but then we can create the zone as well above, trying to take into the consideration this double top over here. Let's have a look, and that's another supply, right? So based on this daily chart, if we agree that that was the latest consolidation phase, right, and we are about to break higher, boom, to the point, looks like if it's going to turn out to be false break, then the bulls are in trouble. But if we are gonna to hold these levels, and looks like the key is over here, somewhere over here, yeah, more or less 50% of this consolidation over here. Wait, yo, no, yes, here. All right, so taking into consideration previous range without the upper lower shadows, it looks like this 26,800 might be the bull target based on this measure and move of the same size. Let's switch lower. Let's switch to the intraday. Where do we have first demand? Just 1 second, I have to check it. We're trying to hold this Niagara Falls. Do we have something here? Probably here, if anything. So yeah, a little bit higher than the daily, 50% of this rectangle. So we may try to put the line over here as well. So that's supply for sure, that's demand for sure, and there is a one more lower over here. So that's the quite wide zone, but it's a DJ. 25,900, 25,750 based on my chart, and the middle line over here 25,820ish. What about the supply? 26,325 based on my chart, and then 26,700 plus 800. So if they going to try to hit some intraday stops, so taking into the consideration Monday price action, this test, was a few times already. We hit that zone a few times, but so what we are gonna to do, if there are gonna be any kind of the stop hunting, where we may go somewhere here and here. All right, so here it might be some stops. We may see some stops. Yo. Okay, that's where the stops resides to the upside. Some supply over here and then the green line. Okay, so that's how DJ looks like. Actually, it's very similar to what we have on a dollar yen. It's quite similar what we have on a dollar yen. Okay, let's have a look what we have on Nasdaq. There is a upper shadow if we are talking about the what happened yesterday, but it shouldn't be danger. 7,500 possible demand, then lower towards 7,420 based on the 26th of March high. As long as we are hold it, what I think I've been trying to explain today when I had a Polish meeting. I think that what we may see, trying to visualize this, we may see attempt to go lower. We may see some stops under the psychological 7,500 level, but probably, and we may even try to hit some stops below yesterday low. But most probably we are gonna to fight into the close, and bulls will try to close above 7,500 to have opened the way towards 7,685 by tomorrow, for example, right? And hitting some stops, and the whole story, what next, probably will gonna take place around the retest of this high here. That's how I see the things. So if I think we are going to see lower levels and then recovery, so let's switch lower here on Nasdaq. Let's have a look what we have and where. So I've been talking about the stops below yesterday low. So that's the possible stops based on the cash market yesterday. So that's the cash market yesterday. Where do we have possible demand based on the cash, not pre or post market, but based on the cash market? Where is possible demand? Somewhere here. Yeah, been tested, but anyway. So there might be head and shoulders invitation. On Nasdaq. Can you see? We are gonna to hit those stops as well over here. And that's where the demand resides. Or it's going to turn out to be the left shoulder only. I don't think so. I think we are gonna to make that move during the first part of the US session. It was tested already here. So we have to take the whole zone into consideration. All right. All right. In the meantime, euro dollar, as I mentioned, retest, maybe a little bit lower. At some point consolidation and eventually then rally. $15 minutes possible demand on pound over here. So if that was latest range, double the range, stops, yeah, it looks like it might hit this level. I'm bearish, but I would like to see the rally back, maybe even higher into the London fix, for example. Same what we've seen Monday over here. Same story. That's what I would like to see here. This was the stop hunt story, and why not? And we know that pound is able to do that. Why not stop hunt hitting the supply around 32.05, 32.20, and then and only then strong sell-off towards the weekly open, maybe the lower level over here. Stop based on the weekly low, this week low. And we do have a problem below the line, trying to fight with these stops above the swing high. Okay, USA. That's gonna be 15-minute chart. Possible over under here. So trying to hit this 63 on dollar yen, and if I'm not mistaken, that we are gonna to see pullback on Nasdaq at during the first part of the session. That might be intraday setup for dollar yen around here. Looking for the stops here and towards the weekly open blue dotted line. We'll see. No rush. We'll see. Okay, so we are within this right now. That's the important thing. We are within this manipulation zone based on the hourly, right? What we have based on the 15. Where was the manipulation based on the 15? Was a little bit lower. On the 15 was here. So there is still space on the 15, but we will go even lower. We will try to narrow that manipulation. Oh, it was even here, but it was tested already. Okay, so let's switch to 5. Manipulation phase. It was even lower here. But it was tested as well, the same as on 15. The low here as well. And 2nd of April 1 minute chart. Second of April 1 minute chart. And that was tested as well. So looks like there is nothing for us based on the smaller time frames. So we have to be careful here. Okay. Two minutes. So we are preparing the first 5-minute range for Nasdaq. Okay. Euro dollar, more stops to the downside. And yeah, we are testing this yesterday open. So let's switch to the daily. And remember, we were discussing this swing low yesterday, right? So let's have a look the range from yesterday. It was more or less around 53 pips. So let's have a look distance between today's high, yesterday high 6. So maybe we are going to hit some stops by 6-10 pips below yesterday low, and then we will see what next. So towards 1190 again. So all the way down. In the meantime, that's our cash open on Nasdaq, and that's not gonna change. That's the cash high, cash low for now. Okay, cash higher. Some stops to the upside at the very beginning, good. That suggests that we might try to go lower after all. Either we are gonna to take the stops to the upside, or we are gonna to trade this over under here. The over under was created pre-market, so I think we are gonna to hit the stops. At least, if not rise straight to the high. Sky is the limit. Sky is not the limit. Okay, okay, Mayor, sky is not the limit. Another high. Another high. And another high. And again. Almost over under. If not, the next one might be here or here. Ah no, it's done already here, so it might be even higher here. Okay, we hit that over under, but again, because been created during the pre-market, I think we might see the stops easily. So where is supply based on the cash? Let's have a look. In that case, we need to get back to yesterday and try to figure it out, supply over here. This one being tested. This one being tested, this one being tested. Looks like everything is done to the upside. So if they want to rise, they can easily rise higher. Everything here was consumed. Okay. Maybe here. But if we are going to take the consideration break through this one consumed here. Okay, that's the first 5-minute range. There is an upper shadow here, so there is a little bit of activity from the supply side. But if we are going to take into consideration the size of the range from the 5 minutes, and we are going to break to the upside, yeah, we may expect, look, 7,564 ideally working here. Again, let's have a look what was that level related to. This over under pre-market and supply here. That's okay. So we tested, so that might be the stops over here and the zone here, those two lines creating the supply. Okay, especially that from that perspective, again, range 5 minutes, doubling that range, and yeah, that might be the case for Nasdaq for the first part of the session. Let's have a look if we are going to get there. Okay, it still is very slow market, but because of this Nasdaq, we are gonna to have a break within the next 3 minutes, and we will have the at least short third part. I'm gonna to make the summary after the break, so more or less we know where we are ahead of the payrolls tomorrow, right? And I'm gonna to try to clearly point it out again. Tomorrow, if you are gonna to try to trade non-farm payrolls, first thing first, check the latest movement after the payrolls announcement, right? Some stops to the upside, some stops to the downside, ending where we started. Be careful of the stop hunting. Then the second thing, don't try to react into the headline, try to look into the details, right? The headline is gonna be traded by the algos, and you are, as a human, are not fast enough to react the same way. So look into details, and details we are talking here are earnings, and probably we need either much better or much worse to see dollar on the move into the Friday close. So we are gonna to discuss this after the break. So we are going to discuss levels on euro dollar, on dollar yen, maybe also on Aussie. That's strange that crude is not doing this last move to the upside. I'm surprised, to be honest with you. Because Nasdaq is moving, for example. Why not? Gee. But that's what I told you during the first part. Slow market, low volatility, stocks higher, and on the FX side, the main direction is gonna to take place, meaning dollar stronger. No surprise, some kind of they're trying to position themselves into payrolls tomorrow. That's my way of thinking. And that's that might be the best way for today. Trying to be cautious, careful, not chasing the market. If you have some levels, zones, simply sit and wait approach. The great stuff, Mer. Alright guys, so let's make that break and let's make shorter third part just to summary and few levels ahead of the payrolls tomorrow. So tea, coffee, whatever you want, but non-alcoholic drinks only. I'm gonna be back around top of the hour.
It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, light Forex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Welcome in our third part of today's meeting. That's gonna be short and hopefully sweet. Market is very slow. The good thing is that at least we show the activity of the opposite side in both cases, Nasdaq and dollar yen, right at the levels we discussed before the break, meaning that we hit the over under, we had this reaction for 10 pips. Okay. But still trying to push it higher, so let's switch to higher time frame. Let's have a look where we are. The thing is, as you can see, we get back and close above trend line, immediately we hit new high, right? In that case, as I've mentioned before, sometimes it might happen within the same candle. So that's what happened here. Where we are hitting this over under based on this early. Above this we do have some base on the daily towards 112, right? And probably taking into consideration how slow the market is today, this 112 might be in place around Tokyo session, if not earlier, all right? So trying, with slow market, usually you are trying to go with the flow from what you've seen before. If there was a range, that's completely different story. But here we can see clearly to the upside, slowly, 3 stairs up, 2 stairs down, 3 steps up, 2 down, etc., etc. But slow market ahead of the non-farm payrolls, let's try to go the same direction. So there you go. Similar story with Nasdaq, but here we hit this pre-market stops and we are within the supply from yesterday cash market, right? So that's where the things might get interesting. I thought that we are gonna to first see lower levels and then try to see higher, trying to hold the low. But I'm very interested what we are gonna to do here around this level. If there are gonna be only, because after such a move to the upside, one more attempt to the higher is probable. Okay, there is a probability we are going to try to hit this stop, and then either we are going to fail or we are going to keep the momentum towards another level, right? 7,590, so around 7,600, and it's not going to be surprise. Boom, 1 to 1. All right, so either we are going to fail here. If we are not going to fail here, then you may expect higher levels. Looks like for now we have the rally, we are trying to make the base, and of course the base, it's taking the time here a little bit too long, so it's a little bit back in momentum in my opinion here. We'll see. To be honest with you, I'm not gonna do most probably I'm not gonna do anything till the end of the day. If anything, you may try to check if there was any kind of the activity on the trading view. So if I'm going to decide with something, most probably I will have enough time because of the slow market to place also something on the trading view. So in that case, In that case, we may see higher levels into the non-farm payrolls. Watch out this breakout level here, because if we are going to get back below the trend line again, so meaning that we took some stops to the upside and we are going to look some stops to the downside, right? So we should find some kind of the demand around current level, or maybe a little bit below. So let's switch lower on dollar yen. Let's have a look where we are. And yeah, let's take the half of this move to the upside, so 50 fib. So that's probably somewhere around here. That was the move. So we are probably somewhere here. We should find some kind of the demand around the yellow zone here. All right. We're trying higher on the euro dollar, but yeah, this bounce is I'm not convinced with it here. Another attempt to go lower. So what I'm trying to tell you is that last 45 minutes we spent within the range we created during the 15 minutes, right? So we spent 3 times more time trying to recover than what we did here, right? So probably we took out some stops here, and we are gonna to see the retest of the lower level, or even stop count to the downside. We need to get higher above at least 1220, 1225. So we need to get back closer towards weekly open, trying to push the momentum to the downside a little bit back. All right, here we are fighting with this range. If we are going to close this 15 minutes again inside the range, I would expect attempt again to go a little bit lower. But let's have a discussion about what may happen tomorrow, right? So let's switch to weekly chart. Let's remove all these arrows. Okay. Where we are from the weekly perspective. By the way, on the weekly chart, we've got the same situation, or different words. On this 15-minute chart we checked a second ago, we have the same situation like we have here on the weekly, right? We created the range 4 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago we were trying to push higher. 2 weeks ago we were looking for stops, but still, based on the daily and weekly close, we were inside this range. All right, that's what I was trying to tell you. And we are retesting the low. So going back to 15 minutes, if we are gonna to hold, if this candle will close back inside the range, right, we may see retest. We'll see. Let's get back to weekly now. So we took our stops to the upside. Now we are looking for stops to the downside. And it looks like this post ECB low over here, it might be the target, at least for stops. Even if we are not gonna go lower, that might be the attempt to try to hunt more stops. And when is gonna be very good moment? Tomorrow during non-farm payrolls announcement, right? The perfect place to try to find opposite side. Okay. The good thing is that this Friday, tomorrow, upcoming Friday, the payrolls is the Friday I like the most, because we don't have additional US data at 4 CET time. So we do have just the payrolls. And if we are gonna to have the move, it's gonna be based on the payrolls most probably only. There is nothing to interfere payrolls 1.5 hours later. So that's the good thing. That's the Fridays I like the most, because if there is additional data, I've seen many times turn around of 180 degrees. Okay. So, based on this weekly chart, bears are going to look for lower levels. Bears are going to try to close below last week low and below post ECB low. That's the target for bears, right? That's the target for bears. And because of this spike to the upside 2 weeks ago, we may try to use low from last week to try to draw small trend line. And the trend line here is a base for bulls, right? So we know what's the target for bears. And right now we know what's the minimum target for bulls, right? Minimum target for bulls is to try to hold this line. In other words, trying to create at least doji, right? Some kind of the uncertainty. So the bears will start to think, okay, maybe it's time to take some profits, right? So if bulls are gonna be able to manage to close above last week close, so as early as next week we may see attempt to create swing low on weekly, right? We have this attempt here on daily, all right? And if tomorrow we are gonna to close higher on a weekly basis, right? So on a higher time frame, we may try to create swing low as well. So the upcoming week might be very, very interesting. Okay. So what to look for in that case? There are two scenarios from the bulls perspective. Either bulls are gonna to try to trap the bears, meaning we are gonna to look for some more stops, either below this week low or either below post ECB low, with strong rejection and strong move to the upside into the close tomorrow, right? That's the bullish scenario. And the bearish scenario is trying to hold here into the payrolls, and if we are gonna to get strong payrolls, trying to push lower and trying to close as low as possible, especially below this week low and post ECB low. That's what I'm gonna to look for tomorrow during the payrolls, and that's what I'm gonna to watch for, right? Most probably I'm gonna to skip pound tomorrow just to avoid troubles ahead of the weekend. So I may decide to do something during the day if there is either impulse to the upside or to the downside. Then I can try to, like a sniper, few pips here, few pips there. But it's hard to say about that today with exact levels compared to what we did, for example, with euro dollar, right? I think that we should keep in mind the big range from the daily. I'm talking about 130 to the upside and 133 to the upside, 129.70, 130 to the downside. And that's the main parameters in my opinion here, all right? Dollar yen, I'm gonna to look to fade rallies above 112. Also, as far as I remember, also Mer placed his order around 1260. So that's, yeah, I'm looking to first I'm waiting for a rally, I'm waiting for stop hunting. Ideally, if we are gonna to see stop hunting ahead of the payrolls, as I've been trying to explain you guys, we are going to see turn around, temporary or overall trend change, most probably after the stop hunt, right? So if we are gonna to see higher levels on the dollar yen ahead of the payrolls, for example, or right around the payrolls, like manipulation to the upside, that might be the case, and depends, of course, if we are going to see rejection or no. I'm going to look on a smaller time frame. That might be this kind of the stop hunt we are looking for example, to try to think about the changing the direction in dollar yen. Of course, we are not gonna move the market. At least I can't move the market, so I have to wait and see. All right. So that's what I'm gonna to look for in dollar yen tomorrow. To the downside, I'm not sure if we are gonna to see that. But the weekly open, we are talking about the 111 levels. If we are gonna to see somehow, I don't know, maybe some second part of the US session today, some negative news, whatever, maybe something during the Tokyo session, but anyway, for sure there is a demand around 111, and even from intraday perspective, something in between 111 110.80. That's where I'm gonna to try to eventually, if we are gonna to see these levels, I'm going to try to somehow join the long side, meaning that if I'm gonna be short, I'm gonna target 111, something around 111, right? So that's the obvious thing, natural target. Okay. And when I'm talking about this weekly open and 110.80, that's because of this possible demand based on this price action over here. That's clear, right? Okay. We are testing cash open zone entry on the cash market and the low trying to hold the line on dollar yen. Looks like I missed this, but yeah, to be honest with you, I'm tired of watching this market, so that might be the reason I missed this Nasdaq short opportunity. The good thing is that the levels we discussed were the good ones, right? So actually that's the purpose of our meeting. It's not the signal service. We are trying to figure it out, the levels, and then everyone is making his own decision. So most important thing that we read the levels correctly. Okay, fall up, fall. Yeah, as you see, euro dollar. We were trying. At the end, we close again inside the range, trying to create swing high over here. Probably we are gonna to see at least retest, if not stop count, and again psychological 12, and then this week low might be in play again. And there is no signs of stabilization yet. We just slowly but surely falling. Okay. Yeah, plenty of them, to be honest with you, Mer, and especially if there is a slow day like today, they are trying to take the advantage of each of them. So there is a small movements, 5-7 pips to the upside, 8 to the downside, 9 to the upside. You know, they are trying to clear all these levels in that case. So, summary. Tomorrow, I'm going to watch only euro dollar and only dollar yen. As I've mentioned, from the bullish perspective, the best, you don't want to see lower levels than what we've seen post ECB. So the bulls should be active in between 12-11.80, I would say. On the other hand, bears were in trouble yesterday, right? There was a move above the weekly open. Again, we hold this weekly open yesterday. Whole Tokyo, half Europe, and New York is going back below the weekly open. So that's the positive for the euro dollar bears, right? But the latest price action, if I'm gonna to look for sell euro dollar tomorrow, I'm gonna to take the latest price action as a whole range. I'm gonna make the measure, and that's what we discussed yesterday. 1280, 1310 as a supply. Most probably I'm not gonna try to join short euro dollar earlier, right? So maybe around the non-farm payrolls we are gonna be a little bit higher. We may see weak headline. ADP yesterday was weak. We may see weak headline. We may see spike to the upside. But if the earnings are gonna be strong and we are gonna be around these levels, 1280, above 1280 towards 113, that might be the reason for me to try to join short side on euro dollar. Right? I'm not gonna chase the market on Friday. I may try to chase the market Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because even I'm gonna to fail, I still got the time to try to a little bit to recover a bit, right? But I'm not gonna chase the market on Friday. And dollar yen, what we discussed before, 111 to the downside, above 112 to the upside. That's what I'm looking for tomorrow. Guys, that's it from me today. Be careful, it's a slow market. So it's easy to be manipulated, it's easy to be trapped here. If you don't have to, don't chase. Good luck tomorrow during the non-farm payrolls. And our next meeting, as far as I remember, our next meeting is on Tuesday morning at 8 CT, and then Tuesday afternoon. So we are going to cover pre-London Open, and then on Tuesday we are going to cover New York session, the same like today. So hopefully we are gonna to have more signs which direction, right? So guys, wish you beautiful weekend. Wish you good luck tomorrow during payrolls, and then beautiful weekend. Have a great day today. Take care and see you on Tuesday. Tuesday reminder set. Thank you, Mer. Have a good one. Take care, guys. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.